Hello and welcome to our WIFR Fastcast. I'm Daniel Burbank from the WIFR News Now desk. A 54-year-old Rockford man will spend more than 6 years behind bars for having child pornography. According to evidence during trial, Stephen Canfield had images of the crime on his cell phone and on a Dropbox account. The investigation started when authorities got a tip that the account contained pornography. A jury convicted Canfield on 2 counts of possession of child pornography. A traffic stop in Belvedere leads to the arrest of 59-year-old Renee Morales and 55-year-old Michael Jones. On Friday evening, Belvedere and Boone County officers stopped a vehicle on bypass Route 20 near Town Hall Road. Officers say they found 1,100 grams of cannabis inside the vehicle. If convicted, both face years in prison. 30-year-old Rafael Soto is in police custody, accused of crashing into a building while under the influence. Just before 2 Saturday morning, police were called to the 100 block of West Grand Avenue. Investigators say Soto was driving when his vehicle lost control, drove onto the sidewalk, and hit the building. 5 people were reportedly nearby before the vehicle crashed. A 54-year-old woman is dead after flipping her car over the weekend. DeKalb County deputies say just before 4 Saturday morning, Jennifer Rogers was driving at the intersection of Sangamon and McCurr Road when the car went off the road. First responders would later find Rogers laying in a field. Despite trying to save her, she died from her injuries. Rockford fire crews battle a large brush fire Monday afternoon. In fact, we can take a live look right now. This is what it looks like right now. Smoke's still rising from that field fire, but this was the scene earlier. It happened in the 1900 block of North Meridian Road. You can see the smoke, the flames coming from the ground. Several crews were on scene from Pecatonica and Windber Sioux. The roads were still open, though there were emergency vehicles scattered throughout the roadway. So far, no injuries have been reported or a cause for the fire. Dixon first responders battled for several hours to put out a building fire. Around 2:30 Monday morning, crews were sent to the 1100 block of West 1st Street. When firefighters arrived, they saw heavy smoke and flames coming from the west side of the building. Several departments were called in to help put out the blaze. One person was reportedly inside the building, but escaped before first responders arrived. No one was hurt. Still no word on what caused the fire. The Rockford City Council is set to vote whether to renew a nearly $444,000 contract with the company in charge of license plate reading cameras in the state. If approved, 27 DeFlock automatic license plate readers and 7 intersection cameras will be placed in several neighborhoods. Rockford currently has more than 160 cameras near roads like Auburn Street and North Central Avenue, as well as police vehicles. The cameras record license plate numbers, stores them in a database for law enforcement, which some folks are sounding the alarm, saying the data isn't being used how it should. Nathaniel Langley will be inside the council chambers tonight with a word from city council members. Stevenson County K-9 Zafra will get some extra protection when she is out in the community. The officer received a bullet and stab protection vest thanks to a nonprofit vested interest in canines. The program is open to dogs at least 20 months old, employed, and certified with law enforcement. Well, President Trump said Monday that it will likely take 4 to 5 weeks for the U.S. to reach its goals in Iran, but warned it could take longer. Iran and its allies strike back immediately, hitting the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, several other locations in Israel. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the first U.S. casualties, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said there may be more. President Trump's GOP allies on Capitol Hill praised the U.S. military strikes in Iran, while some Democrats have blamed the administration for not consulting Congress.
Needs to be a plan, and we need to know what the objectives are, and we need to know what the long-term exit strategy is.
Projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
Years. After more than 85 years in the Pretzel City, Deininger Floral Shop closed its doors for good. Well, the business said Saturday it was its last day. The owners said they cannot thank their valued employees and generations of loyal customers enough for supporting the floral shop throughout the years. They say it's been their honor to be a part of your celebrations, milestones, and moments of comfort. The owners say the reason for the closure is a change in the floral industry, and consumer buying habits have evolved. Big changes are coming this year to student loan repayment plans. There's one that starts this summer you need to know about if you have student loans. Consumer investigative reporter Rachel DePompa explains what you need to know.
Starting in July, there will be a new income-driven repayment plan called the Repayment Assistance Plan. Robert Farrington, the founder of the College Investor, says this plan will be the default option for new student loan borrowers after July 1st, and it does things a little differently than existing plans.
It ties your monthly payment to 1 to 10% of your adjusted gross income, but it does have some really great features such as no negative amortization, which means your loan balance can never grow, and it also includes a $50 a month principal reduction subsidy. So if your monthly payment doesn't pay off at least $50, the government will make sure your balance goes down by at least $50.
Farrington says the trade-off is this is a 30-year repayment plan, not 20 or 25 like existing plans. So you may have to pay your student loans for a little longer, but you will always be making forward progress on those loans. And he says if you are an existing student loan borrower, your options for repayment are also narrowing.
If you're in the Save Student Loan Repayment Plan currently, which there's about 7 million borrowers on it, you will be made to choose a student loan repayment plan here in the next several months. We don't have the official timeline for that yet. We are waiting on final guidance from the Department of Education, but your options today are going to be the income-based repayment plan, or you could maybe wait until this new repayment assistance plan comes out.
Barrington says several current plans are being phased out, and you will likely have to make a choice at some point over the next year. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
The YWCA Northwestern Illinois hosted its 46th annual Leader Luncheon at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. The event honored women making an impact in business and community, highlighting honorees committed to lifting others and reshaping their profession. President and CEO Chris Makajewski says this year's keynote speaker, Lindsay Davis, reflects the progress women continue to make in spaces where representation matters.
Women play a really critical role in our business infrastructure and in our community, and it's really important that we're highlighting those because representation matters.
It is Severe Weather Preparedness Week across northern Illinois, and our WIFR First Alert Weather Team will be giving you the daily episodes of Shelter from the Storm. In today's edition, Chief Meteorologist Keir Miner dives into the changes over the National Weather Service storm outlook.
Beginning in March, the Storm Prediction Center, also known as SPC, located in Norman, Oklahoma, will implement several important changes and updates to the way severe weather risks are communicated across the country. The last major change to the Storm Prediction Center outlooks took place back in October of 2014 when the SPC added 2 more categorical risks to the previous 1 to 3 scale system, expanding it to 5 risk categories. Typically, when you have severe weather outlooks, the Storm Prediction Center issues these for days 1, 2, and 3 on a scale from 1 to 5 based on probabilities. Level 1 being marginal, 2 being slight, 3 enhanced, 4 moderate, and level 5 being a high risk. Outlooks on days 1 and 2 also include individual breakdowns of risk for hail, wind, and tornadoes. The marginal risk is shown in dark green, the slight in yellow, the enhanced in orange, the moderate in red, and the high in pink. Within these risk outlooks, the Storm Prediction Center breaks down tornado, wind, and hail probabilities with hatched areas indicating where there would be a 10% chance of seeing 2-inch hail or larger, 75-mile-per-hour winds or greater, or EF2 or stronger tornadoes within 25 miles of any point in that hatched area. The new outlook will keep the same color and threat level, although it will introduce intensity levels within each hazard tornadoes outlook. For example, on the tornado probability map, instead of the standard hatched area, the Storm Prediction Center will use 3 different line patterns to depict intensity levels as seen in the images here. These are conditional intensity groups, or SIGs. These changes are being made to communicate probabilities for increasingly significant severe weather hazards. This new system for storm intensity came about after analyzing 20 years of SPC mesoanalysis data extracted from the time and location of observed tornadoes during that specific period. Additional changes will also be seen on the wind hazard outlook, as the Storm Prediction Center will add a 75% and 90% probability to the wind outlook.
Now, whether it's a marginal 1 out of 5 risk or a high 5 out of 5 risk, our First Alert weather team will be tracking each and every storm. In fact, it's the perfect time to download the WIFR First Alert weather app to get the latest weather information, and stay tuned for Tuesday's Shelter from the Storm, where meteorologist DJ Baker and weather anchor Aaron Wilson dive into the history of some impactful tornadoes across the state.